It's 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. You know what that means on SABC1. It means Hollywood Bets brings you Game On. So a very good day this to Mzansi, and so much to talk about in the world of football. A special interview for you we have in the last segment of the show. Then we got Jerry Skosana, of course, to talk about the local game. But we start things off looking at what's happening out in England with Shane McGregor. Shane, good day to you. We've discussed this on numerous occasions now over the last few weeks. Manchester United, Ten Hag, the relationship, the 10 years come to an end. They've parted ways. It's interesting when you look at the numbers, though. In his time at Manchester United, 600 million spent, currently 14th on the log, and things haven't gone according to plan. They finished 8th on the log last season, and he walks away with a payoff of, 13, 14 million or so?
Something like that. Nothing wrong as a manager.
No, nothing wrong at all.
Well, this was new. We knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of time when it was going to happen. 600. What did he spend it on?
Players.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, what did he spend it on? So that's my problem. Is the players they brought in, we were just talking off air. I mean, when you bring in a player like De Ligt in and Casemiro past his best, players like that, you're going to be looking for trouble. But at the end of the day, the board decided enough is enough. Let's move on and let's find a new manager, new coach. Even
for the new manager coming in, you have to look at the situation for what it is. Here's a club that's, I think, scored goals where only two sides have scored less. But we're talking Manchester United.
And conceded how many?
Yeah.
You see, that's the biggest problem at the moment. Is number one, they're not scoring the goals. It seems to have dried up. And number two, conceding so many goals. And that's the big problem. But when you look at their defence, to be fair, it's not the best defence around, so that's the big problem. For me, as a new manager coming in there, coach, I'll be taking over, sorting that out first, defence, and then work from there.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, interim coach, the new coach, of course, to be announced soon, but let's talk about it. Do you see Manchester United turning the tide this season, or are we looking at another 2 or so seasons? Do we extend the period even longer for it to come right there?
I think you're going to have to extend it.
Yeah.
Up until such time as you can bring in the players that you need, which now I don't think you're going to be able to do, having spent that amount of money. I can't see anything changing. You can bring in whichever manager you want. If you don't have the players, it's not going to work. So it's another season where you're going to be just going through the motions again, building for next season. So it's next season.
Painful news for Manchester United. Let's talk about the blue side of Manchester. Important scenario they found themselves in on a Saturday, up against Southampton, needed the win.
Yeah.
Also a clean sheet helped. They won 1-0, especially in light of what happened on Sunday with Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yeah, 1-0. That doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get the result. They struggled against Southampton. Southampton did very well, and Pep came out and said their manager was very sharp in what he did, the way he played. He wasn't going to say hi and whatever, because obviously it would give other teams the heads up. But yeah, they struggled through 1-0. Good result for them. They got beaten midweek in the cup, which is nothing. I mean, for them, it was a matter of just playing the second team. But yeah, big result there, 3-0, especially after the 2-2 draw with Liverpool and Arsenal. I just felt in that game that both teams were scared to go on and win it. Both teams should have gone for the jugular. I think they were quite happy with the draw.
Palmer Jackson scoring goals for Chelsea. They walk away 2-1 winners over Newcastle United. We predicted at the start of the season they're looking like a team that will be thereabouts in the top 4 battle. They're maintaining that momentum.
Just the consistency, that's going to be the big thing. They've got to keep the consistency going. They are playing well. They've got a bunch of youngsters, which doesn't help with consistency. Newcastle, Eddie Houses now must be looking over his shoulder because,
he could be next.
Expectations are great. He could be next, but I'll be very worried if I was him.
Man City, their way to Bournemouth this weekend. Your thoughts on that game? But before that, Newcastle struggling, and we talked about now their struggles just recently. They're facing Arsenal at home.
It's a difficult game. It's a very difficult game, that one. If you look at it, both teams need to win. Both teams need to get the result. Very, very hard. But I think Arsenal, I just feel that they've been going well. I think they're going to have too much for Newcastle and get the victory there.
Now that they're top of the log, City will want to push on and keep the pressure on the others up against Bournemouth.
They'll struggle. It's not going to be a very easy game. It's not going to be a 6-7-0 game. But I think at the end of the day, the class will tell and they get the result.
Liverpool-Brighton.
Liverpool at home. I know Brighton have been playing well.
Yeah.
They played midweek as well in the Cup. But for me, Liverpool at home.
Sunday, there's a couple of interesting games. Firstly, Spurs up against Aston Villa. Villa's doing well so far this season. Spurs, well, it's Spurs.
Well, you know me. What
Yeah.
am I going to be going with? The inconsistent Spurs I can't have. I'm going to go with Villa. I think they haven't got a midweek game, so they're going to be ready for this one. I think they're going to be too strong for Spurs.
And for Manchester United, are they ready for a side like Chelsea, even though they are at home, Manchester? And with the changes that have happened, Chelsea on somewhat of a good run this season?
Initially, when I looked at this game, I was leaning towards Chelsea, but having looked at it, and restudied it, I think a draw's on the cards in this game. The players will want to prove a point for Man United. They're going to come up against a Chelsea side who, as I say, the consistency needs to be there. So for me, the draw in this one. And I'm going to be taking the bet on the draw in that one.
Now, it's interesting when you look at the scenario out in England. I mean, you've got City on 23 points, you've got Liverpool on 22. Then there's, the chasing pack, which includes Liverpool. But Arsenal, 18 points, Villa, 18. Yeah. Do you see those sides maybe staying up with the likes of City to make it interesting going into the second half of the season?
Well,
December's coming soon.
Yeah, the top teams, we always say December's the most important time of the year. So you're looking at, I think you got to have a look at Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool. I'm still going to stick to my guns and say that Arsenal win the league this year. They've gone through all their hardships, and I know I'm a big Liverpool supporter. I think Arsenal will still win the league this year. I think Man City has shown signs that they can be beaten.
Again, the numbers game will have, in this case, City, 9 games played, they are averaging a goal a game, having conceded. Liverpool, best defence in the league, 5 goals only. They've conceded in 9. And Arsenal on 10 goals. Yeah. So the defensive acumen of Liverpool here, is that going to make a big difference in the end?
That can make a big difference. But, as I say to you, Arsenal have been finding a way to win games when they shouldn't be winning. Like last week, with so many players out injured. And then they still had 2 players injured in the back four. So they were playing with a complete new back four, and they still got a result against Liverpool. And that's why I'm looking at them. Unfortunately, all their players that are injured are defenders.
So keep in mind, on SABC 3 at 5 o'clock, we will be bringing you live Liverpool up against Brighton coming from Anfield. And, on the other side of this, we are talking the local game with Jerry Skosana, and we'll be looking to knock that chat out the park.